Hello and welcome back to the Mission Darts podcast, episode number 12, and exciting for multiple reasons. One, because you get to hear me again. One, not so exciting, Andy's back. But we're on the back of Ritchie Edhouse, a Mission Darts player picking up a major TV title, the European Championships, £120,000, now in the top 32. But Andy, how busy have you been today packaging and posting out Mission Darts sleeves?
Actually, yeah, we have been busy with those and Ritchie Edhouse darts and everything else. So yeah, it's been unbelievable, and we're definitely going to talk more about this. And as you can see, my background's changed. I'm actually in my bedroom today. I'm a little bit under the weather, so if I thought if I fall back, at least I'll fall on the bed, so that's all right. But I've got my lozenges handy and plenty of water, so there's no way we can let the people down because they're loving the podcast. So here we are, episode 12, 1 dozen done. I'm trying to think of something for the number every week, like next week, be a baker's dozen. And I don't know what, 14 onwards, I'll leave that to you. But yeah, it's great to be back.
Can you not count that high?
Unbelievable amount to talk about with regards to the Euros, obviously. A Mission player winning a TV major. I was off the charts excited last night. I'm sure you were well aware.
With the sleeve on. Now, I mean,
yeah.
the thing is, right, I joke about this, but it's something we know that I've suffered with for a long time, injury within my throwing arm. Edhouse originally picked up a sleeve for similar reasons, and then he's just always wore it now as a comfort thing. It's genuinely, right, if you look at my last player's order that I had sent to my house, you'll see I have a medium and a large compression sleeve because it's something I wanted to try. And now he's gone and done that, it's going to be like, oh, Matt's just copying Edhouse because he won the Euros.
It's going to have to be Matt Edgar at Lakeside, isn't it? You pick up the major there.
If I do, and Edhouse wins that, your compression sleeve, you're going to have
to. We'll be doing them in 20 different colours, 10 sizes. It's quite interesting when you see something like that. And I'm well aware Richie's worn one of those for ages, like you say. And when you see something like that, and then you start watching other sports and you're looking out for things, and would you believe it? I turn on the snooker and there's a guy wearing a glove. Yeah, he was wearing a glove on his, and when I kind of like you do, you get on Google. Apparently, it's because if you suffer from like sweaty hands, the cue sticks. Sorry, guys that are listening, I'm doing the actions here, but the cue sticks in between your fingers. So you put a glove on, which is cotton or whatever, and the cue glides through. So I kind of, oh right, okay. And then obviously there's the compression sleeve for darts, which I've never tried. You're obviously going to try, and
yeah,
I think we should do a video about it.
Yeah.
I think we got to do a video about it, Matt, with or without the compression sleeve. Does it make Andy any better?
I'm not sure the compression sleeve is going to do it. But yeah, I've been studying it. I've got friends within the industry who I was going to pull on for videos and do bits with and get their opinion on it because the actual science behind it actually looks quite good. I like what I'm hearing about how useful they can be. So I think
right, it could... thinking Fallon wears one. Am I right?
Mikuru Suzuki, Paul Lim.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, when the Lakeside draw comes out on the 5th of November, if I draw Paul Lim, I'm gutted. He's so slow, isn't he? Oh. When I saw the qualified players, I'm thinking anyone but Paul Lim.
Matt, he's probably double your age, so give the guy a break.
He's probably double your age. He's been playing darts that long, and he's still qualifying for the big events.
Oh, mate, and the history's there. The 9-darter on the Lakeside stage for Paul. So, yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to the draw and seeing just who you get, and then. I mean, you probably won't be looking, but I'll be looking at, is there a route through? Who might he play? Who might he not play, etc. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll really be interesting to see what's going on there.
And we'll be doing some filming at Lakeside as well, won't we? We've got loads of.
We will be doing some filming. If you're going down to Lakeside, there is a chance you'll see me, and possibly Matt and our cameraman, inside or outside, with a camera, with a dartboard, giving you a chance to win some goodies there and then. So yeah, do look out for us if you're going down to Lakeside, because we're definitely going to get some content. We're going to give some free mission goodies away. So that's interesting. But yeah, the compression sleeve. Yeah, it's all the talk is about the compression sleeve, isn't it? And do you know what? I almost wanted to say something, and then I had to sort of check myself. I'm pretty sure they come as a pair. Have yours arrived?
They have. I think I've only get one.
I thought they come as a pair. I think there's one for each arm. I'm gonna. This is something I've never ever done on a podcast. But whilst we keep talking now, I am just going to quickly Google. Yes, they do. They come as a pair, Matt. So obviously, Ritchie only wears one. I guess that's so. Obviously, your other arm's not really doing anything. It's just kind of so that you look like you've got that there for a reason. You know, you kind of look like you've not just got one glove on like Michael Jackson. You've got two sleeves on, like it's part of your outfit. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
I think we should do I think we should do a challenge, a dare.
Oh, okay.
Do you know people have become very familiar with people wearing vests, which is basically a t-shirt without sleeves? I think we have a dare, a challenge where maybe we do like a prediction for the World Championship, and on our podcast we'll do predictions of the World Championship, and whoever gets the most right wins. And the loser, instead of going out in a sleeveless vest, goes out in a sleeve but without the vest. He just walked down the street wearing just the sleeves. And then anyone, I'm just wearing my sleeves, you know. Just
I'd love to know where these ideas come from, Matthew. I really would, because sometimes, honestly, you never cease to amaze me with some of the things that come out of you. I thought you were going to say something like, "Can you name 3 players who wear a vest?" And I know Dimitri wears a vest, but I can picture somebody else wearing one now. Does Gabrielle Clemens wear one? Anyway, we're digressing as usual.
If you are watching on YouTube and you like that idea, hit the thumbs up button. And if it gets past like 300 likes, Andy knows that he needs to be out in the sleeves.
Do you really think people want to see either of us in or out of a vest, Matt?
Well, you're going to find out soon, because we're going to be able to see when we look at that thumbs up button when we look at this video. And if that video has over 300 likes, you know that you're going to have to get the sleeveys on and go for a walk to get the milk.
Only if my predictions are wrong. My predictions are pretty good. And do you know what? Actually, it was either the Thursday or the Friday night. I was sat watching it, and I got every one right. And I thought, wow, I should have had a little punt on that, because there were some wild ones in the Euros, but there were some that you could kind of see. I'm gonna pick Gilding out. All right to begin with. I looked at that, and everyone went, "Oh, it's Littler's tournament too. He's done nothing. He's got his old darts back, and he's playing brilliant." And you know, it's Littler's tournament, this. And I went, hang on a minute. Right, hang on a minute. I looked at the odds, and Gilding was 4-1. And I went, this is best of 11. This is a pro tour, basically. It's best of 11. I'm doing that thing on my chair again when I'm spinning around. That's every week now. We've gone from the Gary Anderson 170 story to Andy spinning around in his chair every week. Anyway.
All in the same sentence.
Yeah. So I was looking at it going, 4-1. You are not. Gilding's a major winner. He's always up there, and he's just dangerous, and he's difficult to play. When you were playing on the PDC, when I was, you knew those players. Oh no, I know I should beat him, but I just don't want to. But Justin Pike did me every single time. Every single time. I couldn't play him. I could not get myself in the right rhythm behind him. And Gilding's a bit like that. You play him, and you just want him to, like, you're struggling with your rhythm. And Luke's a rhythm player. You know, you get Luke Littler against Chizzy or so, you know, somebody pretty quick, and he's
remind me to chip in with this at the end, because there's something I want to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I went, you know, with the guys I was watching, I was like, I like Gilding can beat him. Gilding can beat him. It's not 4-1. That's a ridiculous price. He can beat him, and he does. Now, and then interestingly, gets battered next round. But to me, we've seen that a million times, and you probably said it on commentary, that was his final. He's got up for that, beats Littler, and then can't reproduce it next round. And we've seen that a million times. He said to remind you. What did you
sidebar? I'm going to sidebar. So you said that he didn't get much rhythm. You don't against Gilding. Now, I'm going to be interested because your time on the Pro Tour was, what, 25 years ago? So it'll be slightly different back then. So
13 now, 12, 13 years, something like that, yeah.
So you say about players with hard to get into rhythm against quirky players, people that do things differently. I'm going to give you a couple. Andrew Gilding's got that quirk. So what he does, he stands to the right side of the hockey, and then after he throws his darts, he steps left and then forwards. And there's so many times you'll go to walk forward against Gilding, and he's still there because he has an extra movement in his throw. Watch it. Watch for it.
Yeah.
It's tricky, and because he's got that extra process. So the other thing he does is slides, so he's longer on the approach. He's longer on the approach to collect his darts. So that's one tricky. Other quirky things. You've got Gary Anderson who stands on the hockey. I can tell you why that is. In fact, I'm not going to tell you why that is. I'm going to put it in a video for you. Why do players stand on the hockey beforehand? I'm one of those people. I can give you the answer. So we'll do a video on that. I can tell you why. I know the exact reason.
Yeah, good. We'll do that. We'll do that because it's not just him either. I've seen 2 or 3 lately. Nathan does it a little bit as well.
Loads of people do it. Yeah. Another reason to subscribe if you're interested in that. Rob Cross, when he's in a double, will stand and he'll kick the like 5 times. He'll just stand kicking the hockey.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Like not just once, like you say, he's kick
and booting it properly, like you on breaking hockey. Is it going to move?
Yeah. Is it going to just imagine that he kicks it and the hockey moves? Oh, brilliant.
It's like this week, weren't it? Crucible, you stood at the side. Look, it moves. No one's going to stand at the side of the hockey kicking it, Andy. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I have my heart shed on this week. I have it on every week, but yeah. So while we're on that, 1 or 2 sort of first round and things like that I wanted to talk about. So Noppert plays Cullen. Right, now Cullen's had a pretty poor year. We've both said that a few times, and I don't know why. Because the year before,
just add a bit of context to this quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Joe Cullen win percentage is the lowest he's ever had, and that dates back to 2008.
Yeah, and my point is why. I don't get it. So going back the year before, I know he changed his practice playing part of that. I think don't know if Devon's still around because he used to practice with Devon all the time, Devon Peterson, and he changed something, and then he plays brilliant, wins the Masters. Was it a Premier League or Masters? What did he win, Joe? Masters, I think. Anyway, wins a major, and all of a sudden, pushing that top 10 in the world, looking like a world beater, comes out this year, and like I'm watching him going, what is going on? Plays Noppert. First round average is 80. Like
you've nailed it. You've got it.
Okay.
And I've never thought of it before. And you've just nailed it.
Thank you.
He's lost Devon.
You can tell me. Okay.
Now that might sound stupid, right?
Yeah.
But when you travel with one person all the time, when you're at an event and you practice with someone, you've got that comfort, you've got a friend. Now you will know 128 players on tour, you know them all, you chat to them, hello, how you doing? But how many friends do you have? How many?
You've got your same half a dozen that you every week. Yeah.
Now, I was one of those where, like, for us, it'd be like me and Ryan, or me, Ryan, Aaron, Beanie. We would stick together. We'd go to the shop together. We'd go for food together. We'd do everything together. We'd go out to play bowling. We'd go to an arcade. We'd go play pool together. We was all like a little group. We were friends. I would see them outside of darts. It wasn't just about darts. We chat to each other in the week. We play computer games together. We know each other's personal lives. We know each other's families. You know, like it goes beyond just we're dart players who know each other because we're dart players. We know each other's life, you know. So that was something
so you're thinking the fact that Devon's not there.
Yeah.
That's the effect.
Yes, because he's not got that regular. He'll have practice partners, of course he will. They're used to practicing 3s and 4s, but he's lost his key friend. He's lost that guy who he would go out with dinner. He's lost. So now his friends are on phones. You know, yes, he'll still probably go out with some people, but he doesn't have that guy that from the moment he really was on the tour properly, 2010, 2011, has been there all the time. And I do think you've hit the nail on the head there. That it makes such a difference. These are things that you don't tend to see, but them two were joined at the hip majority of times. And they do everything together. And he's lost him now, and he's probably not going to get him back the way Devon's been playing. So I think you bang on. I really do. I didn't even think of it before.
Yeah.
But even just the preparation, like I don't feel ready when I play a game because me and Ryan used to have routines and I can't replicate what me and Ryan used to do. Me and Kevin Painter practiced together for years. We're talking what now? About 13 years. And at the moment, Kevin's down with dartitis. And I can't. I mean, I practice at the moment. There's some people I've been practicing with, like, I'm going to be doing videos on it soon, so I can't say who, but like top 16 players in the world. And I don't get that same practice that I've got with Kevin Painter.
Yeah, I understand that. I totally understand that.
You can replace a person, you can practice with a higher ranked person, you can do anything, but you can't replace the feeling that you get from being with someone like the friendship they have. I think you've nailed it, and I've never thought of it before. And you've just bang on.
I had two of the best practice partners that were really pushing me on. For like I say, it was a short period of time for me, sadly. But I used to practice with Paul Nicholson and Chizzy.
Yeah.
And what a good trio, because Chizzy's an unbelievable 180 hitter, as you're well aware, and was number one on the tour for many, many years at 180s. And Paul was a phenomenal finisher, 100 or below. He just never missed. So to practice with them two, I was getting hit at both angles, like, right, you're going to have to score better. You're going to have to finish better. You're going to have to score. And I thought, this is brilliant. This is bringing my game on so much. And like you say, you end up, you make friendships and that sort of thing. I know this is sometimes a blast from Andy's past, but when I used to arrive at a pro tour, I think there was half a dozen of us that would always end up on a board playing games and practice games and, chuck a pound in and this, that, and the other. And Chizzy was one of them. Dean Winstanley was one of them. Steve Beaton, Chizzy, and Ronnie Baxter. Fellow Blackpool man, Ronnie Baxter. Somebody I've never seen anybody drink more pints of bitter than Ronnie Baxter. But anyway, and still be able to play. But so we got
great stories there. Two great stories to go off of what you just said. The first one, when you said about playing for a pound, it reminded me of Dean Winstanley. Now, Dean Winstanley. Now, try this challenge at home without the money involved. See if you can do it. So what Dean Winstanley did one day is he stood next to the dartboard and he says, I will give you odds of 2-1, £5 minimum bet. All you've got to do is go around the board in order, big numbers only. You can't miss one, 1 to 20 around the board. You'll think a professional player will never miss. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, that'll be easy. Not one single person did it. And that includes two-time world champion, the reigning world champion at the time. Everyone were having a go, and no one could do it.
Yeah.
Professional, the elite of the sport.
There's another one that used to come up when I was playing. I'll give you 6 darts, and you've just got to hit one bullseye. Same thing, 2-1. Yeah, fancy a bit of that. 6 darts. I just got to hit one bullseye. First 3 darts, first dart blocks it. That's them 3 over with. And now you're under pressure because you've only got 3 left. And nobody does it. No, and yet, if you're playing like first to 10 bullseyes, you're hitting one every throw. But the minute it becomes right, you've got 6 darts, you've only got to hit one. Oh, it's so difficult. So, yeah, there's a few like that, isn't there?
Another game I used to play, which was quite funny. So this was down when I used to play like local league darts and things like that. So we used to do a practice game where you'd do checkout. So we'd pick a checkout like 116 or something like that. Now, if you didn't leave a double, you paid the penalty, which was like 50 pence in the pot. So if you go hit a ton, you've left double 8, you don't pay. If you go up and hit a straight 60, you've left 56, you pay 50 pence. Every time you don't leave a finish, 50 pence, 50 pence, 50 pence.
Yeah, got it.
So what I used to do, because I was obviously head and shoulders above all the others, is you used to have to wait till the pot built up enough before you could take the finish. So you used to like just leave a finish all the time. Leave a double, leave a double. And then, oh, there's a 5 in there now. Quick, try and take it out. Like, so you used to have to like just do enough so the pot builds.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So moving on from Joe, who we've said is struggling and hopefully gets his form back. The next one So Watamina, who we know got to the final, first round, plays Peter Wright. Now, I'm sure most people would have gone Peter Wright wins this.
Well,
I saw Watamina last week, who played really well, and thought, oh, hang on a minute here. Wright's not playing that well. So Watamina wins 6-0. So I didn't actually watch the game. I saw the result. Oh, gee, I didn't see that. But okay. Wright averaged 74. I'm gobsmacked, Matt.
There's 2 points there you've posed me. The first one, Jermaine Watamania. We'll pick up on that one. 2 weeks ago, I sat on my own channel and I said, watch out for Jermaine Watamania. He's going to go on a big run. Right? That video exists. Then, a week later, I sat on Phil Barr's channel, Online Darts, and he asked me about the coming season. What do I expect to see? And I said, there's a player who's caught my eye. He's going to go on a big run soon. Everyone's going to say, where's that come from? And I'm telling you now, it's Jermaine Watamania. And he did. He went and had the run at the final. So I saw it coming. And do you know what?
You're not a time traveller, Matt, are you? You've never told me. Are you a time? No, you're not a time traveller. Right.
No, I just follow the data. Okay. And do you know what? I don't normally like to... I'm going to do it. Okay. One of the broadcasters at the end of before the final came on, turned around and said, surprise final, Ritchie Edhouse maybe not so much because he's been playing well, but this has come from nowhere for Jermaine Watamina. What a lazy comment to say. Because I saw it coming. I foreseed it because I look at the data. I have to look at the stats and data because I work in there. So are they not looking at their data packs? Are they not looking at their stats packs? Are they not looking at these things and just trying to do it off what they think? Because that was such a lazy comment to make.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, I'd seen the form moving for him, and that's a good shout. That is a good shout. But the 74 from Wright, I mean, we can also about the change in the darts. And I mean, it's gone from changing his darts every tournament to changing his darts every round to changing his darts mid-game. Look, we can argue about that all day long. When he was playing his best, he was quite capable of picking up a different set of darts every day and averaging 100. Now he's not at his best. Is it hitting him? Is he not practicing as hard? Is he getting close to retirement? Is he finished? Please tell me what your thoughts are, because I don't really know.
Why do you think Peter Wright used to change his darts all the time?
From what I know is it's to maintain his interest, because he's a big practicer. He would get bored, so getting a new set of darts, like it does everybody. Oh yeah, I fancy seeing how good I can get with these. I'll put in the practice with them, and then right, I'm bored of these now. I'll get a new set. Is that anywhere near the truth or not? You probably know better than me.
I will give a theory. I think it's because he's not a very confident person. People think it's because he's very confident. Now, the reason is it gives you a psychological detachment. Because now if you play bad, it's not you, it's the darts. That's why you have that honeymoon period with new darts. You get a new set of darts, it's not me, it's the darts. The other thing is when you become very familiar with something and it becomes so consistent, like there's times I'll play better with other people's darts because with my own darts, I'm so familiar with them that actually sometimes you can't even throw it. Like I struggle with my own darts sometimes because I'm so familiar with them because I use them all the time that actually I pick up another set of darts. I can throw these really easy. So, I think it's sometimes when you get a little lack of confidence, you can change the darts and then it's the darts. It's not you no more. And ultimately, if you can throw, you can throw. So I think it's the opposite to what people originally thought. They go, he's so confident he can play with anything. I think it's the opposite. I think he's not confident, so he plays with anything. Now, the issue is it's gone on for long enough now that is now at that point where playing with anything is no longer the not norm. It is the norm. So now that's become the norm. How does he change that to become something not normal? And the other thing is age is not on his side now.
I mean, I've heard it discussed, is it financial? Is it, he uses a different set of darts with the, his sponsors sell some. I I don't see that. There might be a little bit of that in there, but I don't see that as being the reason, to be honest.
No.
It's just a talking point. But yeah, no, the 74 average, I mean, that's not going to be hard for him to beat next tournament, is it? You know.
Are you watching him go make a final or something?
Well, I quite fancy getting mine back out if that's all, you know, if that's what you've got to do. But it didn't win him a leg, so you know that says everything.
You know what it's like, Andy? Consistency changes, and in everything, you know, as you get older, things change. You know, he is just going in consistency in ability to maintain that performance, where you struggle with consistency to maintain like bladder. You know, you're going to the toilet every 5 minutes. So
you know, I've sorted that now. I've sorted that now.
And ironically, you should be thanking me because you sorted that because I ripped you and took the mickey for so long.
You did, and I figured it out. And it's of all things, and I don't mind sharing it with the audience, it's lactose. I'm now having lactose-free milk, and I am like a brand new person inside. It's amazing. So anybody out there that's just going to the toilet every 5 minutes, do this first before you go to the doctors, before you start cutting things out. Try some milk without lactose in it and see. Dr. Cornwall can fix you. I don't know, but it's fixed me, I'll tell you.
I just love the fact. So how did you realise I got it wrong? Oh, Matt just took the mickey out of me for 2 weeks.
Yeah, Matt just took the mickey out of me. And I thought, yeah, he's right, actually. I am going to the toilet every 20 minutes. Yeah, so there you go. Andy's toilet. There's the thumbnail. Andy's toilet trouble. So I've got to talk Ritchie. Okay, so, and I want to go back in time before this tournament. So, and by no way am I trying to take any credit here. I'm just going to tell a story. So Ritchie did actually have an hour with me in the precision room about 3 years ago now, around the time when Suits did as well. And that's probably a little bit better documented that I got Suits off his pair flights that he'd used for 20 years, and it was the best thing that ever happened. But I had an hour with Ritchie as well, and all we did was actually change him from nylon stem and flight setup to molded, but not the current system. Ritchie now uses the Mission Force 90 system, phenomenal system. And at the time, that hadn't been invented. Mission hadn't made that. And I believe I got him onto Cosmo. I think it was Cosmo at the time. So he went onto the molded system, and then he's ended up on the Mission now and never looked back. So almost since we brought them out, he's been using them. And the way his darts land, I mean, I've got to read some of these. I'm not going to go statistician because that's you, but he beats Van Veen, who most people would have gone, oh, yeah, this young lad. Oof. He beats Van Veen with 110 average in the first round on TV. Yeah.
Beating
I mean, that's doing a number. He then beats Mike Smith, who in a deciding leg, talk about a showing bottle, 10-9 with a 96 average. That's 19 consecutive legs, and you're averaging 96. That's almost Taylor-esque. Then he beats Anderson, who nobody gives him a prayer against, and averages 104. 104 he averages over 15 legs, right? Then he beats Woodhouse 11-5 with a 95 again, and then it drops in the final. We all know what happened in the final. They were both absolutely exhausted. I'm sure they wouldn't have played that many games, and it dropped right down. And I'm not really interested. He won the final. But those averages and those performances, Van Veen, Smith, Gary Anderson, this isn't getting through a tournament and getting over the line. This is how about I beat 2 ex-world champions, you know, a player at the top of his form. It's phenomenal, Matt. It's phenomenal. And it's not just
Van
Mission players won a major. It's he's a friend. He's a, you know, a Mission player. It's not just all that. It's the manner in which he's done it. Now, is it a surprise? Yes, I think it is. Even though he's played phenomenal all year and he's been creeping up those rankings and getting better and better. And every time I've seen him, I've thought, oh, maybe he's getting used to the stage now. You've said this before. How many players have now got used to the stage because of the Euros? In the past, it was 2 tournaments a year you're on TV. Now, it's every other weekend. You can get used to it, can't you?
Especially an event like this, it just feels like a bigger Euro. It actually doesn't even feel like a bigger Euro. It's a bigger prize fund. The actual arenas, there's bigger arenas on the Euro Tour than what the European Championships was played in. So absolutely, it'll just feel like a European Tour again, which he's found success in so far this year. Statistically, was the best player of the tournament. You know, I'm not surprised the final drops off because it's hard to play 3 games in a day. Like I want to play 2 games,
long games.
So UK Open, I used to play afternoon, then evening, afternoon, evening, and that's a hard enough transition. But afternoon, evening is very tough. I said the 95 average in the semi-final. Halfway through that game, he was averaging 85 and then upped it. To put 10 points on your average when you've already got a baseline of 85 over about 10, 12 legs, that means you are playing some serious darts in the business end. If that was the other way around, you'd excuse it. But being that way around shows quality. So, again, shows us a story. The final, yes, he didn't average as well, but the back end of the game, when the finishing line came into sight, he got better.
Yeah.
So
he didn't just fall over it, he jumped over it.
He's shown quality.
I'm having that.
Yeah.
The 2 treble 18s and double 18 was just like, you know, I was just in awe. I was in absolute awe. I was unbelievably proud. I was delighted for him and his family. It was all this emotion was coming out of me. And you know, you said it there, the 3 games on the last day. Now, on a normal Euros, that's 3 best of 11s. But, you know, he's done...
changed the format on the back end, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but he's done Anderson 10, he's done 15, 16, 31, over 45 legs. Now, people say, 45 legs, I can be at home and I'd do that in an afternoon, no problem. Right, okay. Try and do it for an hour or half an hour at your peak, and then disappear for an hour or an hour and a half, then come back and do it again, then disappear for an hour and a half, and then come back and do it again. That's what makes it difficult. It's not the amount of legs, it's not the fitness, it's the mental drain throughout the day. And I think they started on the Sunday at I think first game was 11 a.m. or something. So it's just phenomenal. It really is. It's so exciting.
I always find that to be one of the most moronic statements ever. When people go, you're only throwing darts for an hour. No. Because to get to the point where I throw my peak performance, I'm not throwing darts for an hour. I'm not just turning up down my local. I'm looking for my peak performance. To get that, I need to be in the venue 3 hours early to build up to that peak performance. So I've got 3 hours there before that hour for starters. Then during that game, I've got the mental concentration. There's a reason you can't drive a lorry for more than a couple of hours without needing a break.
Yes. Exactly.
Because you can't concentrate for that period of time. So I've got that concentration. The next thing is I've got the adrenaline because I'm in a game, I'm in a battle. There's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of prestige on the line. So I've got that adrenaline. Then I've got that adrenaline dump at the end. Then I've got to start the process for coming back again. It's the same with people that say, football, I train 90 minutes.
Yeah, I tried to find another.
I trained for 5 days for that 90 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the point. If you said to Ronaldo, right, instead of that 90 minutes, I want you to come out at 1 o'clock and play for half an hour. And then I want you to come out at 2:30 and play for half an hour. And I want you to come out at 5 o'clock and play for half an hour. And those 3 half an hours, you've got to be your best every time. So you've got to get up, then get back down. He'd be like, not a chance, mate. Impossible. And I was trying to think of other sports, tennis, golf. Is there another sport where that happens? It isn't. It tends to be a continuous for one day and then it's come back the next. There's no kind of, right, be at your peak, right, go and have a rest. And then come back and be at your peak and then go and have a rest. That is so difficult to do. And you've touched on it in tournaments you've played in, Matt. You've touched on it there. You would much rather go, give me 5 minutes and get me back on, rather than go away for an hour. Because that hour's horrible. Do I eat? Do I sit down? Do I carry on practicing? I
played my first big tournament in 2011. And I was on the PDC 11 years. I'm now doing the WDF circuit. I still don't have the answer. And I have a lot of experience, years of experience. And I'm an analyzer. I don't have the answer. I got to the final of the Welsh Open. I won the semi-final at half 4 or half 3. And my final was at 10 o'clock. The first thing I did was I picked up the phone and I got hold of Glenn Durrant, who is someone who's very, very experienced in that sort of field. He did it very well. He managed that. He's someone who has the answer to how do you take a 6-hour break and come back and play well. And I tried to follow his guidance and the things that he suggested. And what he suggested is you leave, go away, leave the venue and go back, leave, go eat something, go do something different, and then come back like it's a new day. And I tried that, but when I came back, I was a bit flat. Didn't work for me on that occasion. But I see the logic in the advice. Rather than just sitting around waiting, watching the clock, it's like when you're at work and you're like, I just want to get on with it. I want to get gone. And you're watching the clock, and it's like, no. So that was the advice of Glenn, who has been very successful in that exact thing. He won the Premier League under those circumstances.
Absolutely.
He's won the Masters under those circumstances. He won almost every single BDO event under those circumstances.
Yeah.
So that was the advice of Glenn Durrant on that occasion. And I think there's something to subscribe to that. I just didn't apply it very well on that day, but I don't think that's enough, my failure, to discredit that really good advice.
You just mentioned the word subscribe. So whilst you've said it, please do, if you're watching this, please do subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Every Sunday at 5 is our podcast. Give us a like and a subscribe. And before I finish with Ritchie, I think this is the big thing that came to me. He's now getting a Grand Slam spot. Okay, that's huge. It's now ranking. He's obviously in the Worlds. He's obviously in the Players. So... he may well make the Masters. So he's now got a run of TV tournaments. The biggest question is, can he kick on from it? We've seen players that have, and we've seen players that have never been seen again. They've won a major, and where's that guy gone? He's way down the rankings. What on earth happened? And we've seen players that, oh my God, that was the start of him. That was that. Look at Nathan. We've talked about Nathan's story before. He had a pound in the bank. And I was coaching him not long before that. And then he goes out, he wins the UK Open. The rest is history. Premier League player, multiple major winner, changed his life, right? Does this, from Ritchie, who's been a 40, 50 rank player, similar to what yourself were on the PDC, does this now change his life? And this time next year, we're talking about him as a top 13 player.
Well, short term...
Ross Smith, Ross Smith did the same.
Short term, I can give you a good answer to that because I have to. I have to have this information. I've got it to hand. So, Ritchie Edhouse, the back of the year, is defending barely anything. £22,000. Of which, in terms of guarantees, because now he's in the top 32, he gets £15,000 from the World Championship, not 7.5. So he now gets £15,000 for that. He's in the Grand Slam, £5,000, £3,000 for the Players' Championship finals. So the back end of the year is defending 22, but he's guaranteed to earn 23. So he's already £1,000 up. He's got 2 Pro Tours that he hasn't played yet, and then 3 major tournaments. He is free rolling now. He cannot lose ranking money. So he's firm within the top 32. Any win he gets there is just going to put him higher in the top 32. So he's really one to keep an eye out at the back end of this year.
And if you're one of them seeds right now and you've seen what I've just been talking about, do you want to draw him? Oh, heck. All of a sudden, he's learned how to play on TV. I've seen him on the floor this year, tearing the Pro Tour apart, and he's had a phenomenal year on the Pro Tour. I'm sure he's top 3 or something. Do you want to draw him? No, thanks.
I think he drew a lot of inspiration from what we saw a few weeks ago. So Mike De Decker went and won that event, the Grand Prix. I think a lot of players have looked at that and gone, well, if he can do it, this ain't an elitist thing. This isn't a script. This is live sport. And if he's won it, I can win it. And then I think now this is just going to open the floodgates to people drawing inspiration. Jermaine Wattermain making the final. Luke Woodhouse. We was one leg away from having all 4 semi-finalists being outside the top 32.
Yeah.
People are going to draw inspiration from what's happened here. And with that in mind, do we get one of the most shock things going? Do we get a surprise world champion? And actually, we haven't asked a question yet. I'm going to do it now. In the comment section, guys, who, as things stand right now, do you think is the 2025 World Darts Champion?
I think you might get quite a few Luke Humphreys. I think you might get quite.
You know what I do think we're going to get?
Maybe a double question. Who's your winner, and who's your outsider that surprises everyone?
Do you know what I think we are going to get? We're going to get a lot of different answers. A lot of different answers, because some people go Luke, some people go Luke Littler, some people probably think Van Gerwen. Then you're going to get people that look at other people off the pace, because we've got those top ones. Is Michael Smith going to defend the prize money from a couple of years ago? He's defending the big one.
His Price going to get up for it because he doesn't look up for anything at the moment. Going Price, he just doesn't look interested to me. Like he's not entering the Grand Slam anymore. As we know. Something I just wanted to touch on that it just came to me then when you were talking about Ritchie. And you'll have seen this because you're an analyst like I am. I've seen players in the past, and let's say talking outside the top 32, and they've got on TV and they've got in a position to win. And I've been watching them going, wow, this guy's, he's going to win. He's going to beat, it doesn't matter who it is, he's going to beat Van Gerwen here. He's a 10-1 outsider. He's playing so well. And they get 1, 2, 3 legs away from the winning line. And next minute, hang on a minute, what's his shoulder doing? What's he doing that for? Why is all his darts dropping low? Why can't he hit a double anymore? And I've seen it time and time again when, and you've experienced this a lot more than I have, the occasion, everything has got to them and it's prevented them from continuing to play. I never saw that once from Ritchie in this tournament. At all the moments when I thought, oh, hang on a minute here, this is the moment when Ritchie, do you hold it together? And every single time he passed with flying colours. His action stayed the same. His mannerism stayed the same.
You're really impressed with this, aren't you? Like beyond.
I just am because I do. And it's not because he's a mission player. Obviously, I'm over the moon for that. It is the fact that I've seen it so many times, and we all root for the underdog. And I've been watching players thinking, do you know what? He could do this. He could actually do this. And then just everything's got to them. And of course, then it doesn't even get talked about because the favourite won and you didn't win. And I've kind of watched it gone, oh, I hope the next time he's in that position, he looks at what's gone on. I rang one of our players, I'm not going to say who it was, last week and said, that wasn't you on TV. What I saw, that wasn't you. Please watch it back and see what you were doing different, because you probably don't know you were doing it, but it was affecting your throw. So please watch it back and learn from it. And some people can do that. And the best players in the world certainly can. And some people never get over that. Some people, famously Terry Jenkins, how many finals was he? Never won one. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It just all became too much to him. And yeah, that was the thing that impressed me the most. Not the averages, not the fact he beat world champions, the fact that he never looked there's the word, control. He never looked out of control. He always looked like, I'm just going to throw like I have been doing all year and nothing's going to change. And that's impressive, Matt. You've been there. How hard is it to do that?
To do it once is hard. To do it that many times, especially when you've not done it before. He wasn't drawing on experience, he drew on belief.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, in a certain situation, you can draw on experience. Like, but that was at the elite level. That was at the very top level.
Yeah.
And he just,
incredible.
he's very good. Very good.
Very, very impressive. So
for 45 minutes now, Andy, you keep bringing up Ritchie Edhouse. So I think our viewers are now to the point where they know you really like him. We're going to move on the conversation now from Ritchie Edhouse. We're going to move it on to something that I think we really need to talk about, the Crucible.
You've just missed one such important thing that I've got to jump in, Matt. And I know I interrupt you lots before. No, it's the Euros. Before we finish it, it's Wingate. It came up again. Luke Humphries, Michael Van Gerwen complaining. There was wind on the stage. Somebody had left a door open. They said there's definitely no doors open. They both said it was affecting them. Now, that's two of the top 3 players in the world complaining about it. I've never had it when I've played. You've been on stage more than me. I don't know whether you've ever had it. We famously had it with Adrian Lewis and James Wade at the Worlds. But Wingate came up again. And I want to hear your thoughts on it, Matt. Is it a load of wind?
Sorry, perception, 4 out of 10.
Very good. Very good.
It's hard to say because you can't see wind. No. So I can't credit it or discredit it. If the players are saying there's a draft, there's a draft. You can't prove it or disprove it. I mean, I know with the Adrian Lewis one they did because they had paper on. Lewis was showing his shirt wafting, things like that. So it was clear to see. But yeah, it's one of those things that you can't, like, if there's 5 people in a room and one of them farts, how can you tell who it came from unless someone admits it? So it's not like you see the gas.
Because if you're one of the 5, then I know it's you.
So yeah, it's one of those things that you can't really prove or discredit. I never thought I'd use that as an analogy before, but here we are.
Here we are. Okay, so please rate my hockey.
Crucible.
Yeah.
I've been dreading watching that episode because when we was there, we did not like the place. Now, one thing that video doesn't quite show, and one you'll notice with the recording of it, it's very tight. It's around that board. That room was packed with people, with children that was trying not to get shot on it. So we really couldn't film much. It was filmed in a very small space. There was if you watch it again, look in the background, you'll see tables covering the dartboards.
Oh, there was buffets. There was vol-au-vents. There was all sorts of...
It was absolutely bonkers place. It was one open plan room that had everything in it. And I was surprised it scored as well as it did. Yeah,
because we didn't get that feeling, did we? From we got from some of the other places in the series.
I was part of the garden centre across the road.
Yeah, wondering whether you're getting a ticket and So
things we do for you, that's what we do. I risked the ticket. In fact, we all did. We all park in the garden centre.
We all did. Yeah.
Bollard, so we could have got locked in.
So. But can you see why people recommended it? Why some people might think it's wonderful and we've given it a hard time for no reason? Because I can.
Yeah.
The whole point is that it is a difference. Different people are going to have different opinions, and what me and Matt might love, you might hate, and vice versa. That's just the way it is. Like I say, I'm a big fan of being in a very small room with the wall next to the dartboard and cozy. I like cozy. That's why I like the Pro Tours when you felt enclosed. I really like that. Other people like a big, massive, and I'm sure if I ever had got on the Ali Pali stage, I would have hated it because it's massive and it's wide open. Would have hated it.
Well, that's where it's funny when you see the comments. Someone goes, "You're wrong because of this." It's like, no. You can't be wrong with an opinion. You can voice yours. It doesn't mean yours is right, but you're welcome to voice. And we like your comments. We welcome your comments. Certainly on Rate My Hockey. I mean, some of them I have to agree with when they're like, harsh Andy. Like when we go back a couple of weeks and you gave that board a 5, I'm not letting it drop. You may have just cost them a chance to be joint top of the leaderboard.
No, because I'm fair to everybody.
Oh yeah, you genuinely believe that was a 5.
Okay, being harsh as long as you're harsh to everybody, and that's consistency is the key. It's absolutely the key. So yeah, if you haven't watched this week's episode, please do and give us your thoughts on it because it scored okay, but yeah, it was just a weird one. It was a weird one for me and
Also,
Matt. And
can
you're
I
always
just
going
talk
to
to
get
the
that.
Rate My Hockey fans quickly? We're about to go and film Series 3 within the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So what I want from you guys is me and Andy are going to sit down soon and consider categories. As you know, we changed 2 categories this series.
Yeah, please tell them at this stage, Matt. We don't need any more venues right now.
No, we don't need venues.
Again when we need venues. We don't need venues. Okay.
We don't need venues, but we need. I would like to know what you would like to see. This is one thing. We don't just want to shove things down your throat. We want you to have an input in this. Now, I would like to see what you would want to see. Like access to play, I think was a great inclusion. A great inclusion. But I still don't think we've got the categories quite right yet. And I would like to know what you would like to see included. I think facilities, changing bar to facilities was a great inclusion to include things like car park, lifts, access, all that sort of stuff. I thought that was a great inclusion. But what else would you like to see included? I think some things have to stay. Scoreboard, hockey, lighting. They can't be moved. But I think there's maybe a bit of wiggle room in there to see a couple of other different categories emerge.
Absolutely. And we're always open to that, aren't we? And while we're, not just Rate My Hockey's coming, but Matt, tell the viewers about the new content, because there's gonna be lots of that coming your way in the next few months, isn't there?
Our videographer is absolutely cursing it. We have got hours and hours and hours of raw footage, coaching information, darts equipment information, routines, originations, some fun game showy type content.
How to do this, how to do that, what you should be doing, bargains under a tenner. There's so much content, isn't there, coming the way of the Mission Channel. So please
there's going to be loads. There's going to be loads of stuff. And actually, I've just struck up another idea here, which I'll probably have to speak to you about first, maybe off camera, unless you want me to.
Okay. Yeah. Well, all right then. Let me put you on the spot, Matt, because it's almost like a weekly thing now. Either you put me on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot because am I going to have a rant or am I not? I'm not quite sure until I start talking about it. The Win My World Masters. There you go. There's my title. It's been announced this week that the Masters will now be called the Win My World Masters, and they've started using old footage of World Masters winners from the BDO days. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm putting it out there. I'm not comfortable with it. It feels, I don't even know how I feel about it. It just doesn't feel comfortable. It's nothing to do with the sponsor. It's the fact that that tournament, which we've talked about on the podcast, has got heritage and history, and people remember who win it. And you can't suddenly take over a tournament like that with a completely different set of entry with players from a different organization.
While that tournament still exists.
Yes. So, like I say, I don't know whether I want to go off on a rant about it. I'm sensitive to the fact that, great, we're regenerating the tournament, which is good because we spoke about how the Masters was a bit of a non-event this year. But I'm not comfortable with it kind of being almost as if, like, anybody coming to the sport new in February is going to go, oh, I've got to watch this tournament because look at their history. Hang on a minute, that history isn't your history. That's somebody else's history. So, yeah, any thoughts yourself?
The tournament still exists. If the tournament didn't run this year, I didn't see too much. But like you say, you can't just take someone's history. So I would prefer.
Because people are going to say, Martin Adams has won it, blah, 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 blah. Where are those players now? Hang on a minute. Why are they not? I don't understand. Why is it now Luke Humphries and Luke Littler? I'm confused. And we talked about this last week. Putting on tournaments that confuses the viewer.
Yeah, that's you've nailed it there. It's a confusion because that's not the trophy they held. If me and you go now, we're going to start our own darts organization, and we go right, we're going to run a world championship, and Ladbrokes come on board and say we're going to be your sponsor for your world championship. Do we then say our last world champion was Phil Taylor, Michael Van Gogh in final? Because the Ladbrokes World Championship, years ago, Phil Taylor played Michael Van Gogh in. Do we then tag on that history because that's the Ladbrokes World Championship?
Yeah. Or do we say Andy Baines is the world champion? Or do we say, Paul Lem hit the first ever 9-darter in this tournament? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. This is a new tournament. You can't just buy right. So that's exactly it. You can't just buy history. Okay, you can't. It's history.
But you can if you absorb that tournament and that company in its original state, but they haven't. It's a different tournament to the tournament that was run. So WWE years ago bought out WCW and ECW. Now WWE now will put on a Halloween Havoc, and they'll talk about the history of Halloween Havoc, and they'll say that is Halloween Havoc, but it kind of is because WWE own that company and they own that timeline. They're just deciding to put it on as a promotional event, where because this event still exists in its form with that history in another organization, it's one thing that maybe I don't feel too comfortable with it, but maybe over time the PDC have got plans, and we're hours into the announcement. There may be things that we don't know as of yet. There may be things that come to light. I've been told things that I'm not or can't share right now.
Yeah, I understand.
And there's things I'm not certain on in terms of the information I've been told, how legitimate that is right now as well. So it's interesting, but I'm agreeing with you in principle.
Okay. Yeah, please mark that down, people watching. That's the second time Matt's agreed me in the 12 podcasts that we've had.
Well, we've been
and who's in the club, by the way? Who get in the comments again? Who's in the club? Quite a few people this week have said, watching the podcast every week, watched all the back episodes. Brilliant, guys. Keep it going. They're in the club. They've watched every episode. So please do get in the club.
And before I've got an idea, Andy. I've got an idea.
Yes.
You're going to hate me again because I'm going to blow the budget.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I think if I could cut you off now, I would, but I can't because you're in control.
So we're 57 minutes in. So not only are the people watching this, the people that are watching this are the hardcore viewers because they're still here.
Yeah.
57 minutes.
Absolutely.
Is there a little chance here that with Christmas coming up, our club members, or maybe the first 5, maybe to that message in with the code, maybe we could we give them a little Christmas gift? Now, what I'm thinking is every week around this sort of at any random point of the podcast, we will give a letter or a number, and then around Christmas time, that letter or number, if you've got every letter of the code, message into YouTube at missiondarts.com. Andy will send you a Mission Christmas gift.
I just love how you just drop this stuff in right in the middle of the podcast. We don't discuss it. We don't have there's nothing written down. It just pops into your head and you think, I'll just say that out loud. I won't consult Andy about it. I won't do it off air. I'll just chuck it right in where the listeners can go, oh yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Maybe.
As we know, I'm the voice of the listener.
Yes.
I will push for the listener. I will get better content for the listener. I'll get the budget for the listener, and I want to get you some free goodies. I'm here for you guys.
Right. That might happen in future episodes, but I'm moving on, right? Because you can't just drop it on me like that, Edgar, and expect me to come up with something. So I'm moving on to say, and excuse me eating my lozenge, launch. Have you all watched the launch video from this week with the new Mission Darts with Andy Cornwall hitting a 180 with a dart he hated? So there you go. If you haven't watched it, please do go and watch that because why is my headphones just falling out of my head? That's never happened in the 12 podcasts. That has never happened. My headphone has just fallen out my ear.
Must be the ghost.
That was
pulled it
weird.
out.
Because they're like those ones that kind of fit in your ear. Look, I can shake my head and nothing happens. Seriously, I got me worried now. I am in a new house in a bedroom. Is there somebody
I
just
saw the hand come in and pull it out?
Yeah. So if I just suddenly disappear off screen, will you please ring me and make sure I'm okay? Because that was weird. Oh God! If it starts going cold in here a minute, I'm running. I'm telling you. I wouldn't mind. It's Halloween this week. Oh God! Right. Anyway, on that note, thanks everybody for listening.
I'm just going to go check under the bed, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. I'm going to go and get a stiff drink. I don't know. Thanks, Matt. We'll catch up again next week with some more stories.
Yeah.
Good to see you
next week.